Desktop standby usage RTX 3090. We've got AMD Ryzen 9 there. And here is 300 watts of usage. And I can see the fan is on, although it's not inaudible. If I try hard, I can hear it, but almost as if it's not there. I mean, these three fans are easier to hear than this there. Let's try to increase the consumption. All right, now we've got 700 watts. My PC is much louder now because it gets hot. Although the Blue 81, it feels like the sound here is exactly the same as it was at 300 watts. Still inaudible. Let's try to charge it and use it at the same time. Maybe then it gets loud. Still very high load here. We've got consumption of 700 watts. Although the input is 1300. That's because 700 goes as a pass-through. And then we've got 600 topping up the battery. Although the noise, I think it's slightly louder. It's hard to tell because this thing is so loud. I think it's slightly louder, but so far very impressive. Now it's desktop back again. We've got 300 watts of consumption, 600 input, 3 pass-through. The sound is low, however, now I can hear it. And what's interesting, it was low for about, I think, like 10 to 15 minutes of usage, even with the high load. And now, by itself, it switched to some higher mode. So probably it collects the heat and then at the threshold it starts blowing more. Although it's still very low. Now I can definitely hear it. It's like this electric hum. Not annoying. Well, it's so close to me I can hear it. If you put it somewhere back there, you will not hear it at all. So that's nice. Probably the last thing left, let's stress it really hard with like 1.5 kilowatt and see how it works. Before we switch on the heater, which is like 1.5 kilowatt, we see that basic input is 600 watts. Now there is no output, and that's the basic input, good for this device. There is a turbo mode, you can make like 1200 charge. The thing is, it's not good for batteries. If you want your batteries to last you longer, basically as much as possible, keep it on default 600. Alright, went to a different room. What do we see? Our heater takes 1700 watts, 2.2 because it also charges the battery, but it goes as a pass-through. So probably because it goes as a pass-through, there's no noise, no increased noise in our device here. You may hear the heater in the distance, but this noise... Okay, let's try to put it from the battery, without wall, without the pass-through, so maybe it stresses this device more. Okay, so the heater is very far away, it's on. It's 1.8 kilowatt, basically the maximum this thing can handle, and I think maybe that's what it gives out, because the heater is like 2.2 and gives out 1.8. The thing is, the noise is still low. Maybe it gets warmer and then it starts sounding louder, but so far it's awesome. So what else have we got? We've got our AC. You can hear the relay switch. We've got our solar input, which claims to be 1 kilowatt. That's amazing. We've got 12 volt output. We've got USB-C ports. One is 100 watts, one is 140. That's impressive. And we've got typical USB-A is 15 watts. Amazing also. And we've got 2 sockets. This is European, but it will be the very same way for the American. And then we've got typical grid power in. We've got our grounding here if you want to use grounding, and we've got the circuit breaker. The fans are on. They were on, they just switched off. So apparently they are heat regulated. Ah yeah, because the device switched off, that's why. Now the device is on It's zero consumption, zero usage. The fans switched on. They are still on, but they are super slow. So apparently it takes the heat, it checks the temperature, and then it regulates the fans. That's nice, because Nightcore devices I had previously, they did not care what the heat is. They are just on by default. That's very annoying. And there are some Blue Yeti models as well like that, but older primarily. Now compared to this Nightcore, the usage is only 100 watts. And the noise is like a vacuum cleaner. Insane. Yeah, this one is, it's pretty good updated thing. Good updated version. Really nice. 1 kilowatt is not much, but it's portable. You see, it's very light. I mean, like, I'm a strong dude, but it's like 12 kilograms, 13 kilograms, feels like it. Nice. If we press these two buttons simultaneously, we go into the extended menu. P01, you may change the hertz value. For my region is either 50 or 60. I should keep it on 50. Then we've got P03. That's the turbocharge. Turbocharge, so the regular charge, as we've said before, is 600 watts. Turbocharge is 1200 watts. Not good for the batteries, but if you really need it, like for example, if there is like electricity outage in your region and you've got only like half an hour to charge your devices, that's specifically for those reasons. Amazing thing. Bad for the batteries, but if you really need it, it's nice to have it. Then P04, a hand with the biceps. So it's a power lifting mode. It means your device base power is 1800. If you want to use a kettle that is higher than that, you may use up to 2700s. So powerlifting mode, but you cannot use it for electronics. So only for, I don't remember how it's called, resistive loads, something like that. So kettles, heaters, stuff like that, up to 2.7, but it puts some greater stress on this device. So you have to keep it in mind. Then you've got P05 ECO Mode. Basically, it saves the power wherever possible. Not always good. If you connect something low powered to it, like 10 watts, 15 watts of power, it will switch off like in 15 minutes. So I usually keep it off. It's nice for some specific use cases when you need to have it powered on, and then you may forget to switch it off, so it switches off by itself. Then you've got Bluetooth, and then you've got the Wi-Fi. So let's test Bluetooth and Wi-Fi separately now. Basically, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, they do the same thing, except Wi-Fi you can connect wirelessly from long distance. Bluetooth, you have to be close to the device. You may switch on the AC. Yeah, relay works. Switch it off. Same thing. Then you may go into the settings. There we have some guides, user manuals, that's nice. Working mode, we've got standard UPS, PV priority, time control, customized UPS. We'll need to check the manual for all those things. Then we have the charging mode, which is standard, silent or turbo. Turbo is like 2x, 1200 watts. Standard is 600. Silent is also 600. Except it controls the fan differently, and the fan goes silent whenever possible. I usually keep it on standard. Standard is fine. Fan does not bother me at all. Power lifting, thing that we already discussed, it may go up to 2.7 kilowatts. Eco mode, you may change it for the AC and DC, like here in this application. You have separation. If you do it on the device itself, the Eco mode goes for both at the same time. Then we have the screen timeout. This is nice. I didn't know it existed, but 5 minutes, 1 minute, or never. Screen does not really consume much power, so we may keep it on never. Then we have version of our software. We have advanced settings, max grid output, DC input source. Then we've got the AC output frequency, system switch recovery. All those things need to be researched separately. This video just covers the basics. Then we've got grid self adaption. This one is really interesting. If your grid is unstable, if you have power fluctuations, you may adapt your Bluetti to those harsh conditions, and this menu is intended for exactly that reason. So I use it for about 3 hours already, in and out. Was using it without the power in for a while, so now it dropped lower to 40%. The thing is, it's as quiet as it was. There is this light hum here, takes air in, the air goes out, which is cold, and the ambience is currently 28 Celsius, so it's pretty hot in my room. This thing is cold. A little bit warmer here, totally cold here. Pretty good result, unless maybe if I put 1.5 kilowatt on extended usage, maybe it will get louder, but so far I'm really satisfied with the result. The box is nice, has a handle, then in it there is a smaller box that had a cord, there is some kind of a screw, I don't really know what this is for, and there are manuals there, the packaging itself, and this is it. Silica gel to keep it dry. And last but not least, there is some very interesting information here, which says basically do not ever put it below 5%. If it's below 5%, charge it, otherwise it's dangerous for the batteries. Cycle it every 3 months, so if it's in the storage, you have to top it up to the 100 and lower it down to 0, and then put it at about 60% for the long-term storage, because if you store it at 100%, the batteries deteriorate. So you have to keep it in mid-load, basically, from 40 to 60. I usually keep it at 60. If it's like for the store for like 6 months storage, I'm not going to use it, have it in the middle. So it's different from lead-acid batteries. Lead-acid batteries should be stored at 100%. Lithium is different. Never store it at 100%, store it about 50-60%, and you'll be good for years. Basically like 10 years or even more.